Hello, and we are back. We took a little break for the holidays, a much needed break, and we are back with our great friend, JL Rothstein. We call her Jen. Welcome back, Jen. We're very happy to see you, and it's nice to be back live with all our friends.
Yes, thank you so much for having me back, and I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm sure you needed the rest with all your traveling and all that's been
Uh,
going on.
Crazy. Yes, yes, we did.
It's fantastic to see you. I know everyone had the weather's been kind of okay in most areas, and that's good. You don't want too much snow. I saw a few football games that had a lot of snow, but yeah, it's in the true crime world. You'd think, okay, well, everything's going to slow down during the holidays, but it's just getting more and more crazy. And I'm telling you, a lot of us we were talking off the air about the Diddy thing with
Yeah.
on Netflix. And boy, Florence,
Yes.
what's your vibe on that so far?
Well, I know Netflix released, it was a four-part series this week.
Yeah.
It was about Sean Diddy Combs. It's called The Reckoning. And yes, it's airing on Netflix. And I guess, of course, there's pushback from Diddy and his team and his family. And apparently, a lot of people, it's not just them, they just across the board, everyone has something to say, everybody has a comment. A lot of people are not happy. And I guess 50 Cent feels like this wasn't to attack him or to go after him, and it was just to get the truth out. And he felt like this was an important thing to do, that it needed to be done.
Now, what do you think? You've read about it. We've seen it, all that other stuff. What's your kind of take on this so far? What you've seen?
Yeah, it's so interesting because I think Netflix is one of the ones that still to this day does really good true crime
Yeah.
Yes.
documentaries on their channel. It's one of the better things I think that they have for offerings. So when I saw it, I said, "Oh, I've got to watch it." I didn't get through the whole thing, but I read a couple of articles about it, and it's strange. He's had it in the works. 50 Cent has had it in the works for like over a year.
Yes.
It's not like it just came out now, like in the last few months when the verdict came in. So obviously, it was something that he wanted to do, but he went all the way back historically, went all the way back to the 90s.
That's what was
Um,
interesting.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like you got to relive that whole East Coast West Coast fighting that was happening in the rapper world back in the 90s, and sometimes you forget about that. You're like, oh yeah, and my understanding is that he put it in a context that sort of maybe put all the puzzle pieces together in his mind. And so
Yes.
that's very interesting. And then we were talking before the show about how there's some other moments in the show that are pretty dramatic as you're watching them, and
Hmm.
that is again hard to watch. Right? This is a very
It
tough subject
very
matter.
hard.
Yeah, it was, and I think with what's so funny is that 50 Cent, I mean, he's a little bit of a con man. He's a street guy. He knows what to say. He even admitted in an interview that he's been getting stuff on Diddy for
Yes.
10 years, and
That's a long time.
but he said it's not personal.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
he knew the right time. He's a money man. He likes to make money.
yeah,
He's a business guy, a business mogul. And I think this was definitely a
yeah.
planned,
He hated. He doesn't like Jay
my
Z, all
opinion.
these guys,
Yeah.
and I think what really is interesting is that with all of this, Diddy has said nothing. And maybe he did it to save his own life, but he didn't say anything about Jay-Z. He didn't say anything about
Yeah.
the other
And people
ones.
thought he would.
Yeah, and there's a
Mhm.
lot of people that feel that Jay-Z is just as dirty as Diddy.
Mhm.
Not as crazy with the
Allegedly.
partying. Yeah, allegedly, but not with the partying part, but with a lot of the other stuff. Because remember, he had a young Rihanna with when he
Aaliyah.
started. Yeah, Aaliyah.
Yeah.
And I think that what happens is that there was a lot of allegations, a lot of things going on, and we're seeing more and more with so many athletes and so many people uh, getting caught with young girls that this is not a rare thing. I mean, this
I
is
know.
crazy what's
Yeah.
going on with people, and I'm just it's a you feel like you have to take a shower after seeing this.
I
You can't
know.
believe the world that some of
I
these
know.
people live in, but it's kind of true crime on steroids. Uh,
It makes you appreciate your life,
yeah,
your
I don't.
quiet life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want that that type of lifestyle. But the thing is that it's so funny. And Diddy had, as Florence and I were talking about, Diddy had a party for he paid for a party at was it for Thanksgiving?
Yes, TMZ reported because they get all the
Yeah.
stories
Yeah.
first. And apparently he did like a Thanksgiving feast for the inmates. I think 1,000 of his closest friends or something like that on his cell block. And he foot the bill. He paid for everything. And I don't know what type of Thanksgiving meal they have in prison, what type of feast they have, but apparently he went all out as much as he could get, as much as he could do in that situation. And apparently he threw a Thanksgiving party. I don't know how you're allowed to do that, but I guess you are. I don't know if he
I'm
just paid
surprised
for
he has any
everybody's
money
meal.
left, Florence, from the legal bills. How does he have any money left?
You
Oh,
know what? I don't know
he's got
either.
a lot of money
I
because
don't know
the
either.
first thing these guys do,
Good question.
uh, not that I know anything about drug people, but you hide money. I
I
mean,
don't
you
Yeah.
know.
got
Yeah,
money
no.
everywhere, and you're not going to allow the banks to have all your money, or, look at the Russians. I mean, I was watching a special on one of the oligarchs, and 80% of his money is outside of Russia.
Oh
So
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't,
And I'm sure his mom
yeah, you don't
gives him money and stuff.
plus what he does with his mom is he uses her
That's what I
as
mean.
you give it to your family, your
Yeah.
Yeah.
friends,
Or
you make
trust.
them a yeah, so you
Yes.
don't because I've seen people that in business that have gotten in trouble with drugs and they'll seize everything. I mean, they're your
Oh yeah.
cars, your house, drugs and stuff like that,
But look
and
at Bernie
RICO
Madoff.
law.
They still don't know where all
Yeah.
that money is. It's like that money
Yeah.
didn't just disappear. Like obviously they had houses and cars and things like that, but we're still talking about hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars that can't be accounted for there. Obviously that's somewhere.
And he got
Yeah.
big time players. Tom
Yeah.
Brady. He got a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
people that you think are they're so smart, but boy, he got them, and I think it shows kind of also the greed. I was just watching a thing on one of the I forget his name, but he's a race car driver, very good one, and he's lost almost all his money, and he gave it to a person that said, if you give me the money within 5 years, if you pay this life insurance, I'll give you $800,000 a year. And he did it, and he lost everything.
I
So
mean
I
that's
mean, it's just
wild.
crazy. I mean, but you see that I got 5 million. I want 10. You got 10. I
It's
want
never
20.
enough, and
It's
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 crazy to
never
me.
enough, and
Yeah.
that's what I think is so crazy about it. I think I don't know how deep they're going to get into because I watch a lot of the hip hop podcasts and they tell everything. And
Mm.
I'm saying this stuff is disgusting and it's
Yeah, it's
crazy,
hard. It's hard to
hard
watch.
to listen
Hard to
to.
listen to.
But like I said, it's going to be interesting what this special does. Now,
But probably not that far off from like the lyrics, right? Like this is the lifestyle they want. This is the lifestyle they're singing about. This is the lifestyle
They weren't
they're
lying.
talking to
Definitely
about.
weren't lying.
Right. And now you're seeing it actually come to life and it's just as
True.
gross and disgusting as you thought about when you first heard it, right? Like so that's just seeing it coming to life. And in terms of Jay-Z, I would say remember that video of him with Beyonce in the elevator video where he was like
yeah.
Yeah.
he was a little bit tough with her, a little bit rough with her, and people were like, whoa, what is going on? It's like, maybe we're just seeing little bits. Maybe he was just smarter about not filming or not keeping it closer to the vest. And,
Yeah.
you just don't know that's the thing, but there's little
Beyonce
things.
Beyonce doesn't like bad publicity.
Yeah.
She doesn't like anything negative. And when that elevator video came out with her sister beating him up, the
Yep.
sister was hitting him with a shoe or something and
Yep.
attacking him because she knew what he was doing behind Beyonce's back,
Yeah.
allegedly. And the sister attacked him. And that video, I mean, they did everything they could to erase it from the
Yep.
internet. They
Yep.
literally, I don't know how much they must have paid, but because Beyonce's, reputation is a certain way. It's a certain
Right.
thing. She has a fan base, like Taylor Swift has now. That's what Beyonce had as
Right.
well. And I just remembered, and a lot of people thought they'd get divorced and all that. But yeah, all that drama, they sang about it. They did albums about it. They made a
Yep.
ton of money over it. But you're right. It is hard to to imagine now that all the Diddy stuff actually happened. Like it
And
wasn't just a song.
and
Right.
remember poor Ben Affleck when he got beat up by J-Lo. So I mean, you gotta. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, when was that video
He just
out?
got beat up mentally, but
Oh, emotionally and mentally, allegedly. That's what
but
they say.
but yeah. So but I think that what's happening with the rap world, people forget a lot of the stories. There was a big story that along in the streets, and it's very common knowledge now, but that Biggie Smalls went to Sacramento and they had a hit on him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Tupac was the one that saved him to get him and said, let it give him a pass, everything else. But what was interesting is Gene Deal, who was the bodyguard of Biggie Smalls, he said that he went into the hotel room and he looked at a contract and he laughed and he said, whose fool's contract is this? And Biggie Smalls said, that's what Diddy just gave me to sign. And Diddy was going to pay him $250,000 a year. The guy's tens of millions of dollars he's making, and Diddy's going to give him $250,000 plus cars and all this stuff. But that's worthless
Yeah.
He
compared to
did
the
that to
money
a
that he
lot
did.
of people.
And then he asked Biggie, Notorious B.I.G., said, well, what are you going to do? And he goes, I'm starting my own record thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm going to bring all the guys. So we're going to do our own thing. And that was a couple nights before he died. And that's what was so funny about Gene Deal is that no one really wanted him to go to California except Diddy. Diddy insisted on it. He said, you got to go.
Yeah.
And then when Gene Deal at the very end, for those that don't know, Gene was the guy that would sit on the side, like they do with presidents, sit on the side of the SUV or walk along it. And when he went to do it, Diddy said, if you do it, you're fired. He goes, what do you
Yeah.
mean? And he goes, leave it alone. Just get in the car. So he got in the car, and then all of a sudden he watched him get shot.
Yeah.
And
Wild.
it's just
It is.
unbelievable how corrupt. And I think Diddy had a thing to do with Tupac allegedly, but I think he did with Tupac. And in the nightclub when he was with J-Lo, everyone said he was the one that did the shots, not the
Yeah.
other guy who took the blame for it and
Well,
got
she's
paid for it.
another one that's been very silent. She's another one that hasn't said anything about any of this. And it's like, how
She
could you have
also
been
has,
around him that much? He didn't wake
yeah,
up at 40 and become like a pervert, pedophile,
Yeah.
no,
whatever,
no.
alleged, whatever he was doing. You don't wake up and do that at in the last 2 years. And she was
And
around him
again,
for a long time.
she has good people. Again, Jennifer
Yeah.
Lopez has people around her that their job is to make sure she had no type of attachment to that. Like they were very careful about making sure her name was not dragged through, even though people were mentioning her and
Yeah.
thinking, oh, I wonder if she'll have to take the stand. I wonder if she'll be subpoenaed. I wonder. She has people, I believe, and that's what I've heard. Again, this is all alleged because we don't know. We
Right.
don't know
Yeah,
these
we
people.
have no idea.
No, but that she has very good people working around her and with her and
Yeah.
for her that make sure she is not touched by anything.
Yeah, Gene
Well,
said that. Oh, go ahead, Jen.
I was just gonna say, but the strange thing is, like I said, you don't just wake up and become like that. He had to have
No.
been like that, maybe not to that extreme, but he had to have shown some of those characteristics back
Oh,
then. I just find
absolutely.
it hard to believe that she
I
didn't
think so
see
too.
some of the stuff, and maybe she did, and maybe that's why she got away from him. But again, it's really hard to just sit back and be like, oh, I don't know anything about this. I mean, you're being dragged out
Yeah.
of nightclubs when there's shots being fired and all
Well,
this other stuff.
apparently
It's like,
that was the thing. That nightclub was the thing where her management and her parents
yeah,
literally
like
got
you have to get
together.
away from this
Yeah.
guy.
It was like an intervention. They said,
Yeah.
you are working so hard on your career. You've made it to this point, and now you're going to throw it all away just because of that nightclub thing. And
Yeah.
literally, that's what I heard a couple of people say. Allegedly, they did like an intervention on her and said, this is over. Her father basically came into the picture and said, this is
Oh, he's
done.
lucky.
We're
Well,
not
what
doing
But it
this
ended
anymore.
what happened?
but it ended up
Yeah,
worse.
yeah. What
Yeah.
happened with Jean said that the mom had gotten. She wouldn't believe any of the things. And what's funny is Jean said that Puffy was an informant for the FBI.
Yeah.
So they would drive around at night, and they always met at night in New York. And what was funny is that they saw a car tailing them, and it ended up being a private investigator from J-Lo's mom that was trying to get dirt on Diddy to get her to finally realize this guy's going to destroy your career. Diddy used her to be softer and a cool guy,
Yeah.
and she used him to get street cred.
Yeah.
And they both kind of got what they wanted, and then they moved on. I don't think either one was. J Lo's not half as talented as she thinks she is. She insinuated she sang in Selena. She didn't sing one tune. She sang what I saw an interview with Selena's dad, and he said we listened to it for 15 seconds and said no.
Yeah, she can dance. She's a dancer,
great dancer,
not a singer, but
Yeah.
she's a good performer. She can put on a good show. She's very attractive, obviously, but yeah, I don't think singing is her, her forte. But there
They
are
can make
people
anything
who
sound
love
good in the
her
studio, I
song.
guess.
Auto
Oh
tune
my God,
and
that's
all
what they were
that.
saying. The guy. This is what I was so mad about. I was in a live last night, and this guy, who is the CEO of one of the AI creators for music, said music is dead. No one wants to practice. Who wants to practice music? Who wants to learn it? That's stupid. Use AI for music. And I'm thinking, good Lord,
Oh,
what the heck?
yeah.
This guy knows nothing about what music is if
Yeah.
he's saying that crap.
Yep.
But yeah, it is what it
It is,
is.
yeah.
Now,
We have a good story about Drew Brees.
yeah, Drew Brees. But I also want to tell you guys next week we have a best-selling author. He's tentative. We don't like to jinx it. Every
No.
time we tell you who we're getting, they don't show up,
Or they have a change in schedule.
or their
Something else.
pet canary died, or something
Yeah,
happened.
something happened.
And we jinxed it. We've done this twice now, where we announced who it was, and both of them, one just ghosted us. I mean, it was just, and then the next week they call, I'm so sorry.
Then they want it back on.
Can we do it again? And we're saying no way.
No, we're like, we're not
We'll
doing
call
this
you.
again.
So I'm not going to jinx it, but let's just say he has now a movie out. There's a movie out. It's extremely successful. It's quadrupled in profits.
Based on his book.
And oh my God. And so we are very excited. They reached out to us. We've been negotiating a little bit what we need to do and all that other stuff. And you know how that is with business. So, but he has tentatively agreed. And so fingers crossed. So he'll be
Yes, for
here
next
joining
week.
us. And we also have two publishers that we want to bring in 2 weeks that, I think we're going to bring in one at a time. Publishers are very strange. They think everyone's using them, kind of, and so it's just they're. I mean, I went through one with FBI. I thought they were going to do a background check on me and ask for DNA. I mean, it was ridiculous. We just want you to come on and talk. It's not a big deal, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything. I know some about the publishing industry. I know it's very competitive, very cutthroat. But like I said, it's we're trying really hard. We've had 2 people in the past, and they'll be coming up. We'd like to do this for December, January, and February. Have 1 to 2 publishers a month to get people. We really want to get into that realm where, and who knows who'll get discovered. We think Jen is good enough to get a contract, and we would love
absolutely.
that to happen. But I'm telling you, we're beating on the doors. For the most part, they've been very kind. A couple have
Yeah.
been,
It's tough. It's
whatever.
a changing industry too, and
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for those comments, and you're very kind about that. But it is a tough business. Publishing has
Yep.
been changing for the last 10 years. They really don't know where it's going. It's been shrinking and consolidating, and
Yep.
they're not really sure is audiobook's going to do something, or the independent lane is growing and growing. And I think they were all just worried about their own lane too. What does it mean
Yep.
for them,
Yes.
and what does it mean for their books? And it's a labor of love when you're putting out a book for your clients. Like, it takes like a year, from the time that you submit, and you go through editing, and you have marketing, and you get in line to be published out. And so it's not surprising that they're a little skittish about coming
It,
on and talking, to people.
it's funny too, because you look at AI and you look at the music industry, and I was reading CBS article on CBS News, and it was unbelievable. On the very bottom, it had a coding, and it looked like it was for an AI code. And then it said, click on this link if you see any edits, that things that need to be edited. They're asking us to edit their work
That's
because the
crazy.
AI isn't doing a good enough job with it. That's where we're at. I mean, this
Yeah.
is, I'm
It's just so
sorry.
new too.
I don't
AI
get
is
it.
just so new, and I just don't. They haven't perfected it. They haven't figured this out. They just sort of launched it and threw it out there, and that's problematic at times too. So
Look at all the financials: Zelle,
yeah.
Venmo,
Oh, this
B
week,
of
the last
A,
couple of
Twitter.
weeks,
They go down for half a day, you know?
and
Hmm.
people go crazy.
And they're like, "What are you doing?" Or what if you're doing business through there? Your
Hmm.
e-commerce thing. It's
Yeah.
crazy. AI is great for learning things, but you see all these kids cheating. Oh, that
Yeah.
video that went viral, the professor that showed that all the kids had cheated on AI. He even found out through software. So what did he do? He gave them a pop final. And he said, if you guys are all going to get 90s, then this should be no issue. And the highest grade was a C.
Oh,
Unbelievable. He went ballistic. He said, "You're out there doing a job for people and you don't want to learn. You want to cheat your way through. Would you want your mom to go get surgery from a doctor who has an AI
Oh,
degree? I
I
mean, come
know.
on."
Yeah,
So that
true.
training and writing and everything, there's no shortcuts. Now,
No.
uh, the one thing that we wanted to talk about too is that Drew Brees is obviously a huge deal. And
especially now, people are talking about the Hall of Fame and
yeah,
all
so
that.
he's a huge deal in New Orleans. He's practically he's just an amazing figure. So
Yes,
I'm messing up my
beloved.
words
He's
here.
Yeah, he's an
beloved.
icon.
Beloved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was funny when he would score at New Orleans, he would look at the scoreboard and there was this 3 and 4 generation family that was all redheads. And he would always see them under the scoreboard. So like within the last 6 months, he said, "You know what? I always waved at them and they waved at me. I want to meet them." So he called the media and he said, "Is there any way you could get him to meet me? Because the guy he's from New Orleans and he has a shirt shop there for athletic gear and athletic jerseys. And he's very well known in the area." But he started talking. Drew Brees saw him. Drew Brees calls him Little Red, Big Red, and Mid Red. They all have red hair. I mean, it's unbelievable. But Drew Brees was so happy to see him. He had always seen him all these years. And his name is Mike Lester. And the next thing is that he's very emotional, and the reporter's just going, "Why is he's so, I mean, over the top emotional?" And he said, "My mom would have loved this." And she goes, "Why is your mom, breeding this?" And he said, "My mom was murdered 42 years ago when I was 5."
Mm.
And
Wow.
it's one of the oldest cold cases, not only in New Orleans but in the South. So he then went on a journey of forgiveness. And he went on, he was in abusive families. He went through a horrible life, and he, straightened out everything and he did well. But he tried to do a movie about forgiveness, about
Mm.
forgiving people that did this and whoever it was, and healing, inner healing and all that. But all of a sudden, all these people started giving him notes and like messages and phone calls, and they don't want to be talked about. But it was amazing, and he realized that his mom, it because the house was burnt down, I believe, after, and they just thought, okay, well, we're never going to solve this, let's just move on. So it was a cold case. Well, eventually what ended up happening is this guy started getting clue after clue after clue. He started looking into the mafia of the South. He looked into, because anyone that knows anything about politics knows New Orleans, especially, and God bless all my New Orleans peeps, but dirty, dirty politics from Huey Long in the 30s to the mayor, I believe, of New Orleans just got arrested or did some crimes. So from last year, so they have a long history of a lot of crime in politics. Well, it ends up being that he will not disclose. He made a movie about this. I believe it's called When the Devil is Dead, and
Hmm.
it shows about they had one screening, one small screening, and they have told everyone not to release the information. So I think you had to sign an NDA. I mean, you
Oh,
could not do anything. So they are now going to Netflix, and it's almost a for sure that Netflix or someone is going to pick it
yeah,
up,
he should.
and it's going to be a huge
Yeah, I
story.
think so
They
too.
say that the police were involved, mafia was involved, politicians were involved, that it was a drug ring, and there's so many people that were involved in this covering up these murders that he accidentally solved it while doing this love letter thing to his mom
That's
and
amazing.
forgiveness. 42, I think it's 42 or 43-year case that the police weren't even doing it, and it ending up, part of the problem was the police were screwing up the evidence, and the police were hiding some of the things, and so were politicians. So just an amazing story,
Yeah,
just from finding out Drew Brees goes to this family. He always saw him for all these years, and he wanted to say thank you. And just from a chance thing, we're trying. I'm even trying to get him on a podcast.
Oh, that would be
I've
great.
reached
that
out
would
to
be
him.
amazing.
He's a very nice man, and he's the problem is when you're doing a movie, you don't want to disclose
Yeah.
everything. But he said even is just shocked
I was
at
gonna
what
say he must
happened.
be stunned after all this time, and to think that you started off on a journey of forgiveness, which is really hard, right? Like if you're talking about forgiving the person that murdered your mother, I mean that would be almost impossible for most people. Most people can't even fathom forgiving someone who's murdered someone in their family. So to think that you got yourself there
Yeah.
and that's what the result was. I mean, you have to say like God works in mysterious ways, right?
Oh,
Like
yes.
this is that you got to that journey and you got through it, and that was what waited for you on the other side. I mean, that I hope they do get that onto Netflix.
I do
Oh, I
too.
would
That would
love
be
it.
incredible.
Yeah,
It's just an amazing, and I guess there's a Facebook group. I'm going to give you the link to it. It's growing. It's become like a phenomenon in the true crime. And what's really interesting about this, all you true crimers, this was broken by two true crime podcasters.
Yes.
They came up, they started doing some information. Another person came in, another person from the media came in. They started digging up. They found the information. He said, I cannot. And there's one part of the movie, there's a trailer, and we're going to leave the link to that after this too. He looks up with his mouth open and he goes, I think I just solved my mom's murder.
I
And you,
I can't
bone
even imagine
chilling,
what that
You
must
get
feel like.
goosebumps.
I mean, that's oh,
bone
that's
chilling.
chills,
But
chills.
the
Yeah.
you guys, I'll give you the trailer. It is absolutely insane, and what a chance meeting, by a chance meeting from a probable Hall of Famer. Just a simple thing, and then all of a sudden, a reporter sees him so emotional, and from there you find out all this stuff. Becomes a movie, and now it's being shipped. And people said the movie is one guy said, I've been watching true crime movies for 20 years. It's the best one I ever saw. Best documentary I
Wow.
ever saw. So
Yeah,
the
that's a
rare,
lot to say. I mean, there's been some really good ones, so
Yes.
that's a big
Yes.
statement to say that. But they must have had a good production value, right? That's the thing that brings down the true crime when you're watching it. You can see the production value. They didn't put enough into the production value, and it's either choppy or the story isn't laid out clearly, or you're showing too much of a camera running around after someone instead of like laying out the story itself.
and true crime has been, people will say, well, everyone's doing true crime because it's hipster and all that stuff. I've always been fascinated by it. I don't like what happens. Like I said, when I was a little Jim in medicine, and I knew a girl that was, I don't want to be gross, but she would clean up after the murders. And
Yeah.
I was a little afraid of her. She was kind of a tough girl, and I asked her one night. I said, "I'll take you out to dinner if you let me go to one of your things." He said, "Well, I got to go through my boss. You have to wear the hazmats. You can't just
Yeah.
walk in there in your tennis shoes, dressed like a FUBU, and do your thing. You got to follow all protocols." I was in the medical field, so I knew I did. So I did, and I'm telling you. I've seen things in the ICU and CCU that would just make people cry and
Mm,
throw up. And I almost did when I saw it.
I
I
couldn't
couldn't
do that.
believe it, what she did. And she
Yeah.
did this all the
Couldn't
time.
do that.
And it was
Yeah.
just
You never think
unbelievable.
about that either, do you? Like you think about the murder. It's like somebody went and cleaned up that blood.
Yeah.
Somebody went and
As a
cleaned up
job.
as a job. Somebody had to go in
Yeah.
there and clean up like as a biohazard job, like just like they are at the hospital. Like somebody had to go clean all that. Like that never occurs to you. They don't just let you, they don't just let the family walk back into a house with that everywhere, you know? It's yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
remember we lived. I would go to. I worked. I've always been a workaholic, and I would leave like at midnight or one. I'd go. I'd always go to McDonald's if I was hungry and got those two cheeseburgers. I always got that. I think it was $2 or something. So I would get that and a drink or a coffee, and then I'd drive home.
he's
And
going way
Highway
back,
30.
Florence. He's going way
Yeah,
back for
Yes.
the $2 cheeseburgers.
yeah.
Yes.
But the thing was is that Highway 37, and all you Bay Area people know it. We used to call it the Death Road because it was only a two-lane highway. There was no middle divider, and it always had head-on collisions. Well, what happened is they started to do a barrier. So they did a barrier at a certain point. But I was driving home, it was like 1:30, and I look, and there is just a backup. And I'm like, oh boy, what happened? So everybody's parked. So I parked my car. I was still in my scrubs. I ran up and I saw the car, and I'm looking and I'm saying, "Oh my God!" It was a head-on collision,
Mm.
but the truck was trying to drive off. So it was the weirdest thing. It's 1:30 in the morning, and there's people chasing the guy in the truck, and I'm
Oh my
helping the
God.
couple. Unfortunately, and what was great was there was a nurse that was coming home from work too at 1:30, and so she had her scrubs on, and we went in, we tried to help the couple, and unfortunately the man was obviously not doing well, and we got the wife situated and stuff, and the police finally came, but it was unbelievable. There was like 5 6 police cars there, and this guy was trying to get away, and he ended up driving into the creek.
Oh,
And it was like out of a movie. But you see these things,
yeah.
and people will say, "Oh, it's so fun, it's so sexy." It's not when you're dealing with it. It's
No.
very traumatic. I still can see that room where my friend and she doesn't work there anymore. She loved her job too, which was really sick. But I mean, she got paid a lot.
I guess you would have to
Yeah.
like it. You would
Yeah,
have
that's some
to.
sort of, well, maybe if you think about it like you're giving back to the person who's already been a victim, or the person
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
whose family was left behind to not have to walk back in. I guess if you reframe it in your head that
Mm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we're going back to our friend. I think that's what it was. And I got to talk to there she is.
There she
I'm
is.
back.
There she is. I got to talk to one of the head detectives who was doing the case at that time, and it was just fascinating how they thought, and when he walked into a room and what he did, and how he hated police and sometimes the paramedics because they really. They would get, you'd get the person out, but then they'd always want to walk back and forth. And you're going, oh
Yeah.
my God, what if there's hair? What if there's other
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
you know and he said when you're looking at the crime, you're really looking at different things. You're looking at fomites, which are inanimate objects that can carry bacteria, blood, hair, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of things you could look at, and it was fascinating the way he thought. He would look at the way things splattered the wall, at where it did at the wall. He could,
Yep.
I mean, it was amazing what he looked at and what he saw. Very smart guy, no nonsense, smart guy. But I think true crime's really fascinating, and that type of stuff really I love. But yeah, boy, I'm telling you, it's just, uh, I've lived kind of a cool life where I've gotten to, some of the things I wish I didn't experience, but it's weird to get
I
into the
always say
brain of
his
people.
life is like a movie. Like he tells me some of the things because I lived a pretty quiet, sheltered life growing up from a big Italian family, all brothers. Like my parents off the boat. So I mean, my life was just very quiet and, like I said, sheltered. He tells me some of the things he did. I'm just like, that's something you'd see in a movie.
Yeah.
That wouldn't even be considered real life to me, but it was his life, and I'm just
James
always
needs
like
to
so
write a
surprised.
book. You need to write a book.
I said that. He has a book in him, a good book.
I am. The problem is I'm gonna have to wait till some of the people die off so I don't get sued by them. Because I was very innocent growing up, and what ended up happening, I wasn't very innocent, but going into the corporate world, I was. I didn't know my butt from a hole in the ground, and they took advantage of that a little bit. And also, I was afraid to lose my job, so I saw a lot of dirt, and I knew where a lot of the bodies were buried, and I
Yep.
couldn't believe it. I saw payoffs. I saw insurance companies
Yep.
getting cash. I mean, I saw this stuff, and I would go home. I go, Dad, what I thought that was good in everybody. He goes, what movies are you watching? Not everyone's good. So my uncle would say the same thing. What are you thinking? But oh my gosh, you see it, and
Yep.
that's why I always say. And I got in trouble uh, online. I got such hate that I said it's time for women to take over because men for the most part suck. I mean, it just not all men. Obviously, I love
Yeah.
Alan and I love
Yeah.
all of our people, but it's just so much corruption. But that's another story. Uh,
Yes.
Now we do have some interesting questions, and uh, this one I don't even know if I'm going to ask. Well, I will.
Uh-oh.
Because you are
No.
not you might not even be able to answer this because you have the opposite situation. This lady had talked about, and it's a long story, and I did read your email. I'm not going to disclose anything. I don't want to embarrass you or your husband or whatever. Uh, but she said that this is her dream is to write.
Mhm.
She said they have money, but he's not really willing to part with it. And she says, we are well off and we're not multimillionaires, but we got money. And her saying, if I spent 100 grand on a book, this would not even touch us, not even hurt us. He doesn't want to spend any money because he doesn't think he
Mm.
she's good enough or she's talented enough or she's really gonna ever do it. He says it's a 1 in a million thing. And this is a really hard question to answer, and I know it. But what she says, what do I do? Do I just kind of keep the peace and just write a blog or write little short stories, or what do I do? Or do I follow it? And this is probably a question you should have answered before you got
I was
married.
going to say, is she contributing to the money that's coming in? Is
Yeah,
she
they both
working?
have jobs, but he
Because,
makes twice as much.
Well,
well,
but when you're
So
married,
yeah,
it's your money, right? It's not like
exactly.
my income's my money and
Exactly.
my
there,
husband's
you'd
income
be
is.
surprised at
I
how
know.
many couples live
That's
separately.
crazy to
They're like
me.
Financially.
roommates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
my
they
money. That's
financially
my,
are separated.
my
I don't think you need, so just my personal opinion, and obviously that's all I can go by is what I know, but you don't need $100,000 to put a book out. That's not what you need.
but what
So
was she was saying is that we have the money, so it's not an issue. But
He just doesn't want to put
he doesn't
anything
want to put
toward
any money
this.
in it.
well, first you want to finish
Ah,
product, right? So I would tell
Yeah.
her if writing is what you really want to do, then you write and you finish that product, and it's not going to cost you $100,000 to put that book out. You can do it independently, or you can pitch it. You can pitch it to get published. When you go to a publisher, you don't pay the publisher. They,
Yeah.
if a publisher is asking you for money, run. Like that's
Yeah.
not
that's
a
not the
legit.
right
That's
person.
not a legit publisher. So if she wants to go the traditional route, she finishes the story, If she's not sure about her own editing skills, she should at least have somebody read it from a story perspective. That's a couple $1,000s. That's not anything crazy. She could probably do that on her own. And then she puts a query letter together. And there are a bunch of nonprofit websites that will tell you what agents cover what genre, right? So there's a couple of them that you can Google, that will give you the National Agents Association. Legitimate agents belong to associations where you can look them up, you can get their information, what company they work for, and what genres they cover. So, you don't just say, "Oh, I really like this J.K. Rowling book. Okay, who's her agent? Let me write to that person." You can go and find an agent in your area and in your genre, and you can write to them. And you can go the traditional route. That's not going to cost you anything to do that. And maybe if she gets picked up by a publisher, then maybe that changes her husband's mind, right? Because publishers don't just pick anybody off the street.
Well,
They
that's a
have to
great
either,
advice.
you
That's
know,
great advice. Yes.
Yeah, that's great
That's
advice.
wonderful.
Now this one's interesting. I don't have patience. I want to. I want it now, but I realize this is going to take time. I have 3,000 followers on Twitter, 1,000 on Instagram, and 1,000 on Facebook. So I know I'm not very big yet. I have the opportunity, like I'm sure others do, to buy followers and to also, I have one book out to buy reviews. It's going to cost me $100 a review, and they've guaranteed me $5 or 5-star reviews and also the marketing from it. I know it's dirty and I probably shouldn't do it. Is this, I'm torn. What do I do?
so I wouldn't do it. Okay. I don't think you're going to get out of it what you think you're going to get out of it, even if it's real. Right. So you have to look at these situations and say, does this sound too good to be true that I could pay this person and I would get all these reviews and I would get all these followers? Maybe you would. Like maybe they do have some network of people that will sign up for your site and like all your videos and put reviews out there. But I can tell you there's a couple of warnings. One, chances are that's not real. You're not going to get that, right, for that money. Two, if you're on Amazon, if you're independently publishing on your Amazon and somebody at Amazon figures out either through the algorithms or the technology they have that you did that, that can really cost you. They can pull you from Kindle. They can say we don't want you because you went and you
Mm.
did that. So that risk reward scenario just personally for myself doesn't make any sense. My recommendation is that you take that money you were going to put toward getting reviews and you advertise. Go out to BookBub. David Gorham who is a huge indie published author, has a lot of free videos on his website about how to advertise on Facebook, how to advertise on Amazon, how to advertise on BookBubs. I have some material too. I'm always happy to help. I've done a few seminars with small groups of authors. I'm always happy to do this with people to show you how to advertise on BookBub. You can get 1,000 people, your ad in front of 1,000 people for $10, okay, on BookBub.
Wow.
Take that money and advertise. You advertise, you sell the book, you get reviews. This is the path, right? This is what you want. Don't put that money towards something that isn't going to give you anything in the end and is too big a risk for you, because what are you going to get out of that? You're going to have somebody say that they gave you a review but you didn't get any sales, and your reviews don't necessarily get you sales, and your followers don't necessarily mean sales. That stuff comes later. You've got to do it all, right? Like if you're an indie author, you're juggling, right? You want to do it all. But if you have a limited amount of money, you want sales. You want legit sales. You want to advertise and get legitimate sales and let everything else come naturally from that.
Yeah, I think there's a story, and I've told Florence this story. Is there was a guy? He was kind of my arch enemy, but what am I, Batman? Arch enemy? But he was my arch enemy. We battled a lot online, nothing unprofessional, but we were always fighting. And because I thought he was wrong a lot more than he was right, and that bothered me because he loved the clickbait titles and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And but anyway, he had 107,000 followers, and he got. I'm not going to say his name because some of you podcasters listening know who he is. and he had 170,000 followers. He worked for a major publication with six figures. Every sports writer dreams that. One morning, Twitter did their famous Black Purge, which we called it at that time. And what they did is they purged all of the followers that were bots and all of the followers, because at that time, so many people were buying followers. The next morning, it was announced that he was fired. The network, it's a nationwide. If I said it, you'd all would know it. They fired him in the morning. I looked at his account. He now had 7,000 followers, and he had literally paid 100,000 followers for 100,000 followers to make himself look like a big deal. He lost his career. He lost his, he lost his writing. He lost his job. He lost everything to get it quick. So there is no get rich quick. If there was, we'd be doing it. I mean, it's
Exactly.
doesn't exist. You got to work. And this is why 90% of the people online don't succeed, is because they want it now. They do it for a year or two, and then they say, screw this. This is too hard. I mean, I saw a guy right now. He made his first million in a year, and he's been doing this for 9 years.
Yep.
And he said, for 5 years, I made maybe $2,000. And he said, now I'm buying houses for my parents, so you have to, I'm telling you, there's no easy way. I always tell people, it's just not that way. So don't take shortcuts. Don't screw around with that. And I'm telling you,
you have to put in the hard work.
Now, here's a great question. I've got a good sales. I'm so proud of myself. I got 2,000. Congratulations. 2,000 sales for my first book. That's amazing.
Wow.
Fantastic. He goes, it's a gentleman, Keith, and he said, I have 4 reviews. How in the heck do I get these people to give me reviews?
All you can do is ask, right? Like, it's pretty common. I see it a lot on Instagram. Like, that's what you want to use your social media for, right? And if you have a website and you can get some of these people to sign up for your website, that's when you go out and it's just explain to people, reviews are like gold to these authors. Like, they mean a lot. And what I find is that you're more likely to get bad reviews or medium reviews than you are to get good reviews. So if 100 people read your book and you get, whatever that number was, 10 mediocre reviews, the other 90 people probably loved it. They just didn't go out and do the good review. So there's nothing wrong with asking for them, reminding people, hey, if you bought my book, please consider going and giving me a review. You can go out to other authors, ask to swap books. If I read your book and you read my book, would you consider giving me a review? As long as you're not doing it under the guise of a particular type of review or a 5-star review. If you say an honest review, swap, you can get some that way. But the best way to go about doing it is use just your social media and your mailing list to ask the people who have read your book to give them to you. And keep an eye out on Goodreads. So if you're on Amazon, if you're an independent author, keep an eye on Goodreads, because you have a tendency to get more out there, right? Because those are readers. Those are people talking to one another and using that platform. They don't have a tendency to always link the Goodreads reviews with Amazon reviews. So you can go see, where is the difference, and maybe potentially ask that person to also give that review out on Amazon.
Oh, that's great advice. Now, would you use like your mailing list, or would you use something like that to remind people to leave you a review?
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
So that's not considered bad.
No, a lot of people, if you notice on the authors, they'll use like a newsletter, something that comes out monthly or quarterly, hey, I'm going to be here doing a book signing. I'm going to be this. And they put a little note in the minute. Remember, if you've read my books or you're a follower or a fan of my work, please consider leaving a review. And that's all you can do. You're just asking. You're not, hounding them or specifically asking an individual person. You're just using it as part of your template. And then, you see a lot of people do it on Instagram. You see a lot of people do it if they're following you on Facebook, and you ask, hey, I have a brand new book. If you're buying it, please consider leaving a review. And making sure people understand how much that matters, right? Because your reviews do affect your ranking, like where you're falling when you're out on the Amazon page.
What is a good percentage that you think? So for every 100 books you sell, what's kind of a goal or a good percent? Obviously, you want 100%, but I mean, what
Yeah.
kind of goal or what is it? When do you know you're kind of hitting you're doing the right things? Like how many? 10, 5?
Yeah, I mean, I think your first book and you're out there and you're selling a couple hundred copies, if you can make sure you at least get to 10 and then work on it from there. And remember, you're not going to get them all at once. So if they had a really good book launch and they got those 2000, a lot of people don't read it right away, or a lot of people give it as a gift, or a lot of people, sit on it and go get sidetracked to read something else. So it will take time, even this many years later after Atonement, I still see new reviews go up on for Atonement, and it's been
That's
years,
fantastic.
so it's like over
It's
time you're
wonderful.
building that. That's not you're not your expectation shouldn't be, well, hey, I have 100 reviews in the first 3 months the book is out, unless you're a if you're a best-selling author, published author, then of course you have a following and you've got people right away that are giving that feedback. So don't be afraid to ask for them. You can't ask for a 5 star, but you can ask them to please consider giving you a review if they're a fan of your work. I think you're trying to get the fans, right? Because it's the
Yep.
people that are not fans that are more likely to go right out and be like, "Oh, this is a 3. I really, really like it."
Oh, it's the other writers, the experienced writers to me. No offense if it's one of you, but they give brutal reviews. I mean, good Lord. And you're thinking,
Yeah,
I just wasn't feeling this character. I don't like them. And maybe you weren't supposed to like them. I mean, it's just,
yeah,
I don't get some of their reviews, but I didn't like their vernacular, or I mean, it's just like what are you talking about? So you got to be careful. I think fans will leave honest, and they realize how much these also mean to you. Now, with another person here, and this is a question that I hear from all people: how do I sell my books to my family?
Mm.
And what should I expect out of them? Should I even tell them or even offer or ask them? How should I deal with this? I don't want to berate them, but I really would like their help.
That's a hard one.
oh, this is so difficult because we have a certain expectation. Oh, it's my siblings, it's my brother, it's my family. They're just going to come out and support me. Maybe they do on your first book, but I think you have to maybe check your expectations. Right, your family is made up of all kinds of people: people that read, people that don't read, people that read certain genres. So I don't think that your expectation should be that they're just going to full out support you and just buy the book for the sake of buying the book. Now you'll have some people that do that, obviously, but I think if you're expecting everybody is going to buy and share and review and do all that, I think your expectations may be a little bit out of whack. Think about someone in your family that has a business. Do you go there every day and buy something from them? So think about somebody that does charity
Exactly.
work. Do you go and run the marathon for them every year? Probably not, right? Like,
No.
so you want to, that I think maybe more the emotional support is maybe more important to you than the sales. From your family is the people that if your family is behind you and telling you, yeah, great, I want to hear all about it. Tell me how it's going. Keep at it. That this is great. I think you want maybe more of that than the sale for a sale, right? Like I think that's more a reasonable expectation from your family.
Also, if they don't buy it, they could still share your post. Ask them to share the
Absolutely.
post. I have a post on this. I'm not telling you to buy the book. I would just really like you to share it, or I'd
Yeah.
really like it. And remember, likes and all that, lovey hearts and all that stuff. Like I said, to me, that's a handshake. A hug is a retweet. It's a
Yeah.
share. That's what you want, because that's literally saying, I know some of you, and I see you every day. Jim, give me a retweet, and I give you a retweet, and then you give me a heart. I already have a girl, so I don't. The hearts aren't going to help me. So what I need from you is to share, and that's also where you guys are. Some of you still don't get it. I know it's hard to trust people. We've got like what between us 110 120,000 followers just
Yeah.
on Twitter, and
Just
that
Twitter.
doesn't count all of our other accounts that we have. We will be more than happy to help you. I got a list, and I'm not going to out this guy, but I gave him I wasn't in a good mood, and I probably was a little bit too mean. I did apologize after, but he didn't even follow me. He had 2,000 followers. He had wrote his first book. He told me what a post should be, what I should write in the post. He
Oh,
told me who to tag. And he told me, write this post for me. He didn't even say thanks. He just said, do it. He didn't even follow me. And oh
oh.
my God, I went a little bit off on him and I said, narcissistic. I said, are you kidding me? So again, remember, let's say Jen has 40,000 retweets and she retweets you and you have 2 or 3,000. It'd be like ABC, and no offense to you, but it's like ABC, the monkey network. I mean,
Yeah.
if that's a thing. I mean, it's like you guys, we're offering to help you. We're not taking your money. We're not doing anything. And all we ask is that you support us as well in return, be it the podcast,
Yeah.
be it retweeting, be it sharing. And that's all we ask, because we will support you. We will help you, but it's symbiotic. If you don't do it, then and my friend Carl, look up symbiotic, and Carl's my friend, so he knows that, but look it up, and like I said, give to us, we give to you, and we're not bragging, we're not doing anything. When we were down and we were starting, we had nobody. I had 15. When I got my first 100 followers, I thought I
Oh,
cured cancer. I was so happy. I was jumping
it
up.
is amazing when you
It
start with
Oh,
is.
nothing and then all of a sudden
It
you're like,
is.
wait, I have 100, I have 500, I have 1,000. Oh my goodness, who are these 1,000 people? I mean, it is pretty amazing to watch
oh
it
my
grow. It
God,
is.
Stephen King. He liked my post. What is he liking my post?
That was
Stephen
back in
King.
the day when X was Twitter
Yeah.
Yeah.
and all the
Yeah.
celebrities were
Oh,
on,
we loved our
and you
celebrities.
figured out,
Yeah.
oh my God, I can like associate with a celebrity, because there
Yeah.
was a time where celebrities were just, out in Hollywood and you couldn't
Yeah.
touch them. You couldn't interact with them. And I remember the first time, getting followed by a celebrity and you're just like, oh my God, it's
Whoa.
like so
Yeah.
Kathy
shocking,
Ireland.
so
Yeah.
shocking.
Kathy Ireland. Here
It's like,
she's worth half a
wow.
billion dollars and one of the biggest businesswomen in the world. And she's like thanking us, and
Yeah.
we're just like, what the
And
heck?
little did
Very.
we know we'd end up interviewing them
Yeah.
like on a regular
And
basis.
Yep.
Blake Shelton, when he endorsed one of our friends' books, and I mean,
Wow.
the
Yeah.
guy didn't even believe what happened. And Kelly Clarkson, and they call up
Same
the next
thing.
day, and it's like the publisher's like, "What in the
What
world is
happened
happening?
this
You
Yeah.
just got
weekend?
5,000 orders.
What
What's
happened?
going on?"
But that was the power of social media back then
Yeah.
with Twitter and the celebrities. But guess what?
It-
The thing with celebrities is, as wonderful as they've
yeah.
been to us, you don't necessarily get the same type of support as you would from someone who's your mutual,
Yeah.
who is doing, in your niche, doing the same thing you are, interested in the same thing. If you're retweeting them and they're retweeting you, that is priceless. That is
Yeah.
priceless to get that support.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing, and it's real support. It's
You
not a
need real
celebrity
support.
who gives 20
Yeah.
thank yous,
Like,
and
like, like,
and
like,
some of
like.
you,
Yeah.
I see some of you, you look at the top 20 New York Times bestseller and you just keep retweeting them and keep retweeting them. It doesn't help you. They're never going to share your
Yeah,
work.
they don't even recognize
They're
who
too
you are.
busy. They got a million
If
followers.
they're
They aren't going
even
to do
doing
it.
it, if they're even
And
the
some
ones
don't
Yeah,
run their
no.
own,
making it.
right?
Yeah.
Some
I,
have social media marketers.
I
Yeah.
remember, I think it was Jock Papon. Everybody's saying, I got to talk to Jock. Jock says, I've never even sent an email. I don't, so that's the thing, is you have to realize too that it's so important, because if one person shares and they have 20,000 followers, then 10 people share, they have 10,000 followers, then five
Mm-hmm.
people did share. All of a sudden you're getting, amazing views, and you're thinking, wow. And that's how you grow, and that's how you get followers. That's how you
Yeah.
get more eyes on the prize. I'm sorry, marketing is about getting eyes on the prize, getting people that would want your product, that like your product, and getting as many people to
It's
look at it.
networking,
It's
which is what you
networking,
need to do in the end.
getting with like-minded people. We know how it is to struggle. We know
Yes.
how it is to almost beg and be frustrated. I'm not growing. This ain't working. This sucks. And boy, we've had those moments all the time. But the thing
Yeah.
is, when you get your victories and you keep growing, you keep
Yes.
getting successful, and you see I'm not kidding. When Jen topped 5,000 with their first book, me and Florence were high fiving. We were
Yeah,
so
so
happy
excited.
because you see someone that works so hard and you work so hard to support people and you see the success and you're like, oh my God, it pays off. And
That's the thing that I get most excited about when I
yeah.
see someone actually out there doing it, working really hard, doing their own thing, being authentic, actually boots on the ground, actually putting pen to paper and doing it. I get so excited when I see their victories. Like, I love that. I know some people are not like that and they won't celebrate other people.
Oh, I love it.
I love to celebrate when
And it doesn't
someone's
come overnight. Like
succeeding.
if
Mm-mm.
when
No,
you see
doesn't at
these guys
all.
are
Yeah.
traveling everywhere and doing more and more interviews and getting bigger and bigger, no one can look at you and say, "Oh, well, you just started yesterday." No, it's
No.
years. I've known Florence for over 5 years. We've been
Yeah.
working together, her and I and James, and so nobody should be surprised when that happens when you see someone who's just out there really hitting the pavement and really working it and
Oh,
working
I,
it.
I I talked to a guy that we used to really be close, and I talked to him, and he just finished his 8th year, and he showed me his bank deposits, and so far this year he has $485,000.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, you're just like,
Oh my God.
you just can't.
Yeah.
You're like,
Wow.
can you adopt me? So I mean,
Yeah.
uh, but I mean, this is the type of thing that happens, and when the success happens, it's quick.
It is fast.
Yeah.
It
Every
feels
person,
like it's
yeah,
overnight, but it's not.
every person I've talked to, when they get to that point and they do succeed, it just is like a tidal wave. It's amazing, and it really
Yep.
happens. All these years you work, and then it happens really quick.
Yep.
I know a good friend, another friend, 8 years, and he's now making $250,000. His wife told him, "I don't believe in you. You're never going to make it." And they broke up and they got divorced, and now his new wife is driving around in a Mercedes. So,
Well, that's a
you
good
know,
story for your earlier question with the woman who said that her husband doesn't support
yeah,
Yes.
her. That's a good
That's
story
very
for that.
bothersome.
Yep.
That's
he
a
ain't
bothersome story.
he ain't starting. You're departing. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. You're
What bothers me the most is that she contributed to the money as well. And why wouldn't she be able, if this is a dream of hers, take that hard earned money and put some of it toward her dream?
I mean,
It's
some
sad
men,
he's not supporting it.
yeah, some men don't even want women to vote anymore. I mean, I saw a thing in North Carolina. I think it was a law they were trying to pass that it was okay for husbands to go in the voting booth if a woman was voting. I mean, what the heck? I mean, we're going back to the 1940s. I mean,
Yeah.
what is going on? I
Hmm.
don't get it. So
Yeah.
yeah, if that's part of your money, plus I think if you're in a relationship, my mom always had her stash, and no one knew about it because she would magically come up with money, and you're like, how the heck did she get that? But she had a little part-time job, and then but her family, she really worked hard, and she would always, she would have the cash, and it was kind of cool to see that. And I think, and she told me later on, I always kept money from all of you. You didn't know about it, and so just for a rainy day, or you guys needed something, or we need to get groceries or something. And I think that's what everyone should
Oh,
kind of do. And if you're
Yeah.
doing well, the money's not going to be missed that much. So put something aside a
that's what
little bit.
my parents did because my dad took care of everything. But my mom got herself a little part-time job. She raised four kids, and when the youngest, my brother John, was high school, junior high, full time. He's in school, he's doing sports. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to get a little part-time job." And you know what? My dad never asked her for the money. He never even
Yep.
asked to see the paycheck. It was a little part-time job because he, like I said, he financially could take care of everything. But he let her have it and he told her, get stuff for you, get stuff for the kids.
Yeah.
When it came like Christmas time, oh my God, she went all out. For our Christmases were always so wonderful. And, she loved to decorate the house and she loved to, get little gifts and things for, her friends and family. So again, I just think that it's a shame that they have the money. I could see if they didn't, and obviously you have to prioritize,
Yeah.
but if she's contributing and they have the money, That would make me very
Yeah.
A
sad.
lot of
Yeah, I mean,
men.
something else is going on there, right? And we
Yeah,
A
don't know
lot of
the
men.
whole
definitely.
story. Who knows how many this is my dream moments happened prior to that, right? We're
True.
being
Yeah.
maybe
True.
possibly a little unfair to the husband because we're making assumptions, but
We
so
don't
we
know.
don't actually know. But if it
Yeah.
is really
True.
just this one time, you would hope that you would get support, and I think that that speaks to something else wrong,
True.
deeper that
True.
is a
You
bigger
should
problem.
support
Yeah.
absolutely if someone,
Life's
is important
short.
to you,
Life's short,
support them.
dude. Give her the money, and if she doesn't,
You can't take it
and
with
if
you.
yeah,
You
if
can't.
there's,
You can't.
I've had a couple relatives try, and it didn't work out. So,
Yeah.
but like I said, it's. I think with anything like that, happy wife, happy life, and I think also as long as everything's cool and it's copacetic. I mean, if this is her sixth dream, then yeah,
Yeah.
don't give her
Yeah.
any money.
Or just tell her, take it out of your pay. You've
Yeah.
done this,
Yeah.
for the last 10 years. We can't do it
All you
anymore.
got to do is say,
Yeah.
you know what? Start being like my dad. You walk the dog. You mow the lawn. No more gardener. No more dog walker. No more
Yeah, sacrifice, right.
Uber. Yeah, no
Yeah.
more delivery of food. You go do it. So, and he'll probably go on your side. But next week, keep your fingers crossed. This is a great
Yes.
story, and the movie is just
So
blowing
excited.
up online. The reviews. Every movie we've done a press junket for has gotten over 90% reviews on
Oh,
Rotten
that's
Tomatoes.
amazing. That's
We don't
amazing. I
do
just watched
junk.
your video. I just watched your video with the House on the Prairie group. What a great
Yes,
Oh,
video
Allison
you
and
did with
Dean.
Allison
Allison.
Arn
So
Yeah,
fun.
Allison
yeah,
Arngrim is a hoot, and Dean
Yeah,
is
we love them.
great.
Whenever they
yeah.
reach out to us, we're always like,
They have a
yes,
new movie
yes.
out, and
Yep.
they've asked us to support it, and it's
Yeah.
so funny. I remember someone said, "Why do you always love Nellie? She's such a
She's
mean
so
person."
funny.
And I told
I
those
love
I
Allison.
told Allison and I told Dean. I said, "Well, Nellie was really mean, but she had a lot of panache. The girl after Nancy was just a psychopath." So, and they love that. But yeah,
That was
Allison,
fun.
and what's funny is Little House on the Prairie. They're doing a new series, and it's
Yeah.
blowing up already on the internet.
Yes.
The groups are just two groups that I'm in. One has 250,000 members, and another one has 175,000 members. And these people are on every day.
Yes,
Yeah.
every day.
Now they're super fans, though. Why did Paul not, wear a hat?
They dissect
Oh my
everything.
God!
It's
I'm going.
amazing how
I
much
don't
they
know.
love the
So,
But I mean,
series.
it's if you're of a certain age. I mean, it was part of your childhood, right? That was
Yes,
part of
that's
your
what I said
childhood.
too.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love the show.
Sentimental
Yeah.
We
toward it.
watched that in the Waltons
Yeah.
all the time, and then when
Yep.
my parents were asleep, I'd watch Benny Hill. So
Oh my God.
at midnight, and my mom, you better not be watching Benny Hill, that pervert. But yeah, she would.
Or
She would.
Monty Python, I think, was on,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Before or
Yeah.
after it. Yeah.
But
I
yeah, I'm excited about next week too. I think the next couple of weeks I think are going to be really fun. So everybody should
Please,
tune in.
everyone do the
Tune
karma,
in.
because like I said, sometimes it's a different world. I mean, when Florence and I say we're going to do something, we do everything in our power to do it. Sometimes
Yes.
things happen, but
Things come up. Like today, we had an event that we couldn't attend,
yeah,
and we really wanted to. But this week, actually, the last couple of weeks, a lot of things sort of
Yeah.
presented themselves, a lot of opportunities, and you can't do everything.
yeah.
So, we've been very lucky. But yeah, I think the next couple of weeks are going to be really fun. I think our lives, we're going to have some really great people. Of course, Jen being the first.
Oh, Jen, and
We love
I don't
having
know,
on.
Jen, we need to talk because we have gotten a lot of people asking, can you guys have a seminar? And
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
do a thing where you guys go through the basics of writing a book. Go through the basics of going through, because a lot of people said they want to start, but they're overwhelmed. They're not. Some have said I hear everything and anything. I'm reading blogs, I'm reading YouTube videos, and I'm still very confused. So I'm going to talk to Jen, and Florence and I'll butt head, or we'll get our butt heads. We'll get our heads together. You can tell I'm tired.
Yeah.
But
Great.
but
late for us.
but again, what we'll do is we'll think about it. We want to be also, we all work, so we're all really busy, and we don't want to burn Jen out. But like I said, I think that would be pretty cool, because I think we
Yeah.
could get another author. What I'd like to have is kind of another author. We have some that are really good authors that could come on a Jen and give you guys two sides of it. That's why we want the publishers in. We literally want to ask them, what do you do? What do you look at? What are things
Yeah.
that you look at? What are numbers you look at? What are styles you look at? Things like that, so we could kind of get a better idea of what it is, because that's what we want to do. We always wanted to do this to help writer friends and get it out there, because we would love for everybody to be very successful and drinking Cristal on the beach one day, and all meeting.
Everyone to follow their dreams, and because I know for a lot of people, it is a huge dream of theirs to write a book, to be a writer, an author, a published writer. I think that's amazing.
And thank you to Amy Trask and to Mike Detillier and to all of our
Oh, so many
amazing
wonderful
followers,
people.
all our amazing fans, and all. It's humbling. We
Yes,
look at
thank
it.
you so much.
I mean, we're just
For all the support.
WWL
Radio.
radio. We see Steve Geller and some of the other
Yeah.
people.
Cumulus Media, We Be 108.
Yeah, some of the radio stations
people.
are now listening to us, and
Our people.
and you've reached out to us, and we're
Thank you
very
so
grateful
much.
for that. Florence, the hardest part of all this for me, I don't like to brag, and I don't like, because I think it's
Yeah.
all bragging, but you also, as people said, you got to say something so people know that you're doing the right thing. So we are really, really,
And I think by
lucky.
everyone seeing our content and supporting it
Yeah.
the way they do, I think that's confirmation that we're on the right track. And again, we couldn't do it without all the support. It's just so humbling for us.
A lot of fakers out there. A lot of people don't fake it till you make it. I mean, we all do it to a point, but don't do it to the point where you're being a fraud or you're being someone that's not being honest, because readers want honesty, and podcasters want honesty. So be honest. And like I said, and be real. That's what we're all about. So please do that. We're really excited about next week, and the month of December, January, and February. We've got so many things lined up. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna. If you're a writer and you ain't following us, you ain't doing it right. I mean,
and if
it's
you
just,
love interviews, celebrity interviews, because we have usually a couple of months, we do press junkets and get invited to all these great things with movies and books, and check out our interviews on the forum. We have our links out all over our social media. Go to YouTube, follow the Forum Celebrity Podcast, and you'll see just years worth of interviews.
And me on Twitter, I'm
literally
I'm real James Pat, and Florence
Carmela with one L,
and Jen
At JL Rothstein 1.
and JLRothstein.com.
Yep.
Please go there, get
Yes.
on her mailing list. She has amazing things. Go check out her website, and go on Amazon and get the Heaven Sent series.
Yes.
My gosh, start out with Atonement. You'll be blown away, and you'll be hooked for life.
and you'll be ready for the fourth book, because she has 3 in the series. So get the series, and then you'll be ready for the fourth book.
We are
next year.
just really excited.
Yes.
So many
Can't
things
wait.
that are coming. Because like I said, we want to really be kind of one of those places that everybody kind of goes to, and everybody kind of, because we do have a couple of writers. We're not going to say who they are, but they are established writers that are religious to this show. So we thank them, and we love
Yes.
them very much. They've been trying to spread the word about Jen and about us. So we're slowly there's some celebrities that listen to our show on Thursday every time, and we greatly appreciate that. We don't want to take advantage of your kindness, and thank you. We really do appreciate
thank you so
and if
much,
you ever need
everyone.
anything, let us know.
Yes.
You open mic, you
Reach
guys
out.
should come on. But thank you all for your kindness.
you.
We are thankful for you, and thankful for Jen and for all the people that are enjoying our stuff.
Yes.
So
Have a great night, everyone.
take
Thank
care.
you.
Good night.
Bye, Jen.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Jen.